tonight in our meeting is one that the BAA has been anxiously looking forward to for quite a time. And so what you're going to learn tonight is what is it that they, whoever they is, have been trying so hard to prevent the BAA from saying and for the taxpayers from hearing and learning. So this evening we're finally going to be able to open our mouths and let you know a lot about what's going on and or has gone on. It's not everything, but you're going to learn a lot. So the first poster that I have is it's a copy of an email from Todd Helms to the town manager, and it's dated June 16th of 2022, so it's a little over 14 months ago. And this particular email is, you'll see in the lower right-hand corner, there's a number on it, says Enfield 0051. That's our page 1 of our handout. When we're done tonight, we're going to give handouts. We hope we have enough for everybody, but every poster you see and every a lot of the documents are going to be in this handout. So the handout is extensive. It's 88 pages, but we think a lot of it you may not be interested in, but a lot of it different people will be, and we want you to know the whole story and that you can do what you will with it. But anyway, so now to get to this particular email, it's sent to the town manager from Todd Helms. He also copied the town attorney and the finance director. And what this stemmed from is the BAA last year had found what's called effective year built. This is one where Donna was up last month talking about her house, and her house seemed to get younger as it got older based upon some formula or calculation that Vision and Todd Helms was doing. We called it the Fountain of Youth. So after we had written our report last year and we had cards that showed the effective year built, it showed an audit trail, it had a lot of information on the street cards, then we found out that a month or so later that information had been suppressed. It was gone. Fortunately, we had a copy of what we had printed out, but the official town position was that we were not telling you guys the truth, and that there was no such thing as this fountain of youth and suppression of evidence. So this particular email, the reason I thought it's very important is the very first line where I have a red arrow and I've underlined it. It says, I did suppress the EYB, effective year built, on the cards after the PRCs, those are the personal residential or property residential cards, were printed for the BAA. Again, I did suppress the EYB, effective year built, on the cards after the PRCs were printed for the BAA. So that's an admission that in fact, now we know why it went poof, and it was just disappeared because he hit the button to suppress it. So then he goes on though to say that it's confusing to people because the BAA was obvious that we had no concept of effective year built, and they're supposed to be well versed. And then he says, I felt it prudent to suppress the field as it has no effect on value. Lori's going to get up in a minute and show you where it does have an effect on value, and it's generally accepted, well not generally, it is accepted on the appraisal standards. And the reason Lori's going to do that is she's the only one throughout this whole process who's certified as an appraiser in Connecticut, residential and commercial. Nobody from Vision is, and the assessor's not. So when he said that it has no effect on value, she's going to show you where it does. And then the other part he ends up saying is that it tends to lead to confusion for both the uninformed and for the lay persons. So apparently we're too dumb And Enfield people are pretty dumb, so he doesn't want to confuse you more by telling you the truth and what they've done. So with no further ado, I'm going to ask Lori to go through her. Okay, thank you.
At the last meeting, I did go over the cost approach, which I explained that the replacement and reproduction costs minus depreciation plus site equals the value of your property. Part of the formula is depreciation. Depreciation can be physical, functional, or external. An external example could be that you live near a dump, a zone change, or a highway, something beyond the property. Depreciation can be curable or non-curable. A structure's effective age reflects the quality of construction, the degree of maintenance it's received, and remodeling. The effective age divided by the total economic life equals depreciation. And depreciation is loss in property value from any cause. Effective age is an important component of the formula to arrive at depreciation. Depreciation does affect property values, and this is actually sourced out of the Fundamentals of Real Estate Appraisal, the 8th edition. And according to our assessor, it has no value. I'm going to discuss, oh, now?
Tap the top. Just
Okay. Top.
Tap it.
Tap the top. It's very temperamental.
Testing.
Okay.
It only likes
I talk with my hands, so I'm going to hold it lower this time. So I also would like to mention that there were 3 transcripts in the report that was done by, we call it the Coppola report. The town managers who talked about a taxpayer who was a problem, and also she mentioned was extremely arrogant and entitled. And then a transcript was not done for June Perry, which was Vision Appraisals, and James William, he was also from Vision Appraisals. And I'm sure after I read this card, you may know why that they were not transcribed. Card number 3, we had to listen to the audio of the interviews of all 3 of those people, write down what they had said, and each of them were a couple hours long. So on the interview with June Perry, she was the Vision District Manager, and it was at 1.07.13 on the tape, if anybody wants to review it at some point. Mario Coppola, does the effective year bill affect the valuation of a property? June Perry, yes. Mario Coppola, why? June Perry, because it's depreciation. So again, once we create that table, it goes to average good, very good, excellent, and rebuild. Then vice versa, fair, poor, very poor. There are 3 types of depreciation: physical, functional, economic. That is the one way we change the depreciation, and it's through the year bill and the effective year bill. So when we put a condition on a property that is average or good, that is creating the EYB. Interview with James William, Vision Project Manager. 1052, marked on the tape. Mario Coppola, do you generally use the income approach as the primary way to determine fair market value? James Williams, no. The cost approach is normally the primary method we use. Mario Coppola, why is that? James Williams, it's more consistent for at least mass appraisal purposes than using the income. It's more of an assessor preference on how they want things done in the future. Most assessors want us to do it on the cost so they can manipulate the value in the interim years. Manipulate the value. It's totally wrong to do this. The assessors are in charge of Vision. So James Williams reveals that the assessors want the cost approach so they can manipulate the value with the depreciation. Simple as that. Mario Capola ignores this information in the report, and I'm sure that's why there were no written transcripts of these three people.
Thank you, Lori. Again, the important parts of that are that the email says that it has no effect on value. That's completely debunked. And when the vision person says that the reason they use the cost method is because it allows assessors to manipulate the numbers, that causes a chill to go through our bodies. The other thing that I just feel compelled to comment on is when the town manager in a video makes remarks about a taxpayer that the person's extremely arrogant and entitled, I'm wondering what relevance does that have to how that taxpayer is treated in the administration? And also, what relevance does it have to the value of property for tax purposes? I just saw no reason for that at all. But I did agree with the town manager's last part of her statement that the taxpayer is entitled, in that he's entitled to be treated fairly and honestly by his administration and the government. He's entitled to be treated, as are all of us, with dignity and respect. We're entitled to a fair, just, equitable tax treatment, as are all taxpayers, whether she likes us or not. Anyway, that being said, I'm going to go to the next poster, please. Thank you, Todd. Okay, this next one is page 2 on our handout. It's going to be, the only reason I'm saying these pages is there's going to be a YouTube video of it, so if you want to re-watch it sometime with the documents in front of you, then you can follow. So I'm going to, from time to time, be talking about page numbers. It's also got an Enfield 2946 number in the lower right-hand corner. And what this was is a letter that I did on behalf of the Board of Appeals dated March 21st to Todd, asking him for some additional information because it had, at that point, reversed 44 of our decisions from the preceding year. Later on, he reversed another 4, so it's a total of 48. But anyway, with this, I asked him in the first line of the second paragraph, since each of your revision letters included only a brief conclusory statement of your opinion, I wanted to know if you consulted with and or relied upon any experts, such as attorneys, accountants, appraisers, or soil scientists, or if you relied on any other documents that might be helpful. I then pointed out several properties that they had, they being, oh, I don't know who they is other than Todd at the time, had problems with. He commented on 78 Park Avenue, that's Longy, 54 Virginia Avenue, Romano, solar properties, including a tax stabilization agreement and solar carports, that was Jarmuck and Antonacci, and then any other properties. And I told him this would be very important to us because we wanted to understand and give everybody a fair hearing, including the town. So if he could give us some more information, or at least confirm that he have any expert opinions upon which he relied on, it would be critical to us in evaluating the evidence and doing what we thought was fair, right, just, and equitable. So following that, I did learn that other than the town attorney, who didn't give him a written legal opinion on anything he cared to share with us, he did consult with the town attorney, but nothing that he could share with us. There were no other attorneys, no accountants, no appraisers, and no soil scientists that he consulted with in making his decisions. So, that being said, then we proceeded with our hearings, and we gave everybody a fair hearing and rendered our decisions.